Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer, two graded stakes races. The big one at Saratoga on Saturday is the Alabama for 3-year-old fillies, but 3-year-old fillies on the turf take center stage in the Grade 2 Lake Placid Stakes. Carded is race number 8. It's a race you can bet with a DRF Bets account. Sign up, get 10 times the bonus. You bet 20, you get 200. Head on over to drf.com/bet for more details. And here's the field for the Lake Placid. And guess what, Mike? Chad Brown has got the 2 morning line favorites. The 6 Rushing Fall at 9-5, the 4 Significant Form at 3-1. Let's talk a little bit about Rushing Fall. She won her first 4 starts, and you can make the argument she actually ran her very best race in defeat last time out in the Edgewood.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. I mean, she's only 4 for 5 on the way in. You could make a reasonable argument that she should be undefeated on the way into this race. She didn't win the Edgewood the last time we saw her, but she was probably best in there considering the way that race laid out and all the hard work that she did in there. That was a really tough beat for her. You know, listen, the question is, where has she been since Kentucky Oaks Day on May 4th? Chad Brown has been quoted as saying she had some issues. She wasn't training that well leading up to one of her earlier assignments. She caught a fever after that. So she's missed some spots, and now she's back in the Lake Placid. Is she the best horse in this race? I think she probably is. I do feel like you have to wonder, though. It's been over 100 days since we've seen her. There's a chance some of these 3-year-old fillies are starting to catch up to her now in the 100 days that we haven't seen this horse. And if they've caught up with her, she better come back running in this race.
You're a little worried about the 1 1/8, too.
Yeah, maybe a little bit about that. I mean, I'm sort of worried about the 1 1/8 for a lot of these horses. But certainly for her, it's something she has to prove.
But in that Edgewood, she finished ahead of 3 next out winners, and she was really pulling and eager going into the first turn. Pulled herself up to battle with another horse, put that horse away, and then for about the half-mile pole all the way down to the wire was engaged by Daddy Is a Legend. She beat Daddy Is a Legend. She couldn't beat Toinette. She won the battle. She lost the war. We'll see how she handles the layoff. As for Daddy Is a Legend, she got away from Rushing Fall. She won the Grade 3 Lake George earlier this meet, and boy, Manny Franco gave her a beautiful ride.
I mean, he just gave her a really, really nice trip. I mean, she was the best horse in that race anyway, but the trip certainly helped her cause in there, and she got it done. New top figure for her. I mean, listen, 1 1/8, no problem for this filly. We know that about her. And listen, is Rushing Fall, or had Rushing Fall been a little bit better than her when they met up the 3 prior times? Yeah, I think she probably has been, but she wasn't better than Daddy Is a Legend by a lot. And so there's a reasonable chance this horse has closed that gap. Again, in the 100 days since we haven't seen Rushing Fall, this horse is a huge contender in here.
Getting back to Chad, the 4 Significant Form has always hinted at immense promise. Second in the Wonder again behind La Signare, maybe a little bit too conservatively ridden by Arad Ortiz that day, letting La Signare steal away to the early lead. Last time out in the Belmont Oaks, she was pocketed behind a pretty solid pace, and I thought she was crying out for room at about the quarter pole. And by the time she got out, Athena was in full flight. I thought she ran okay, and I also think a mile and a quarter just too far.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, when you go back and watch the Belmont Oaks, boy, she was under a big hold all the way around the turn. You could tell she was just waiting to get clear. Maybe she got clear a little too late. I mean, if you just watch it overall, she got clear in plenty of time. She had her shot at it. She just didn't quite finish that last 1/8 of a mile in there. But I think, being under a hard hold for as long as she was probably didn't help her. Really like her cutting back to this distance. Really like her tactical speed in this race. Really like the way she's improved as a 3-year-old. Boy, she may not be as good as Rushing Fall. Last year she certainly wasn't, but again, she's another one who's catching up.
The Way I Am also has good tactical speed, and being drawn down to the inside, it's possible she can work out a nice ground-saving trip. Second best in the Belmont Oaks, but I thought she ran well. Johnny Velasquez gave her a great ride that day, but she just keeps creeping forward on the Beyer scale, and she just keeps being better than we thought she was.
Yeah, she ran well in that race last time. I mean, of all the horses in that race, outside of Athena, who just really had the run of the race in there, out in the clear into a solid pace and just taking over. Maybe this horse had the second best trip in the race because she saved a lot of ground. She wasn't right up on the pace, and she got through on the inside in the stretches, what she likes. She likes to rally up the inside. Only second best in there, but again, she just keeps overachieving. She's another one. I like her going a little bit shorter. I'm not sure the 1 1/4 helped her out last time.
Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, because the number 5 Go Nani Go is going to be out there on the lead, and that might be good for the 4 Significant Form. It might be good for the 6 Rushing Fall, because let's be honest, while Go Nani Go is trained by the masterful Michael Maker and is in solid form, she just hasn't shown the kind of races that those horses have run.
Yeah, I mean, they've gotten a lot out of her, finding the right spots for her. Now they're going to take on a much bigger test, and it just feels like she's just facing a bunch of fillies who are probably better than her in here.
Let's talk a little bit about the number 7, Andina Del Sur. You really like this filly a lot. I also think you like her at slightly shorter distances. Last time out in the Lake George, she ran okay behind Daddy is a Legend, but only okay. 2 back in the Wonder again. I thought she was a little bit one-paced late, but she had no pace to run at.
Yeah, that race didn't set up well for her, but it's not like she came with some huge finish in there and you felt like she was really unlucky in that race. Last time in the Lake George, I didn't see the excuse for her. Listen, I like her. I think she's good. If this pace gets fast, I guess she can come running at the end. I still want them to cut her back.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 2 Lake Placid Stakes. Let's talk a little bit about your top pick in here, Caplatentris, who is now going to be again with Bill Mott. This horse showed so much ability in winning the Natalma last year. She just hinted at a lot of talent. I'm not really worried about the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf. That trip just didn't work out for her. She ran really well in France 2 starts back, and in the Belmont Oaks, she didn't really have the best trip.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason that I took her is for sort of a combination of all those things, and just the fact that she's probably an okay price in this race. I think all those things sort of conspire to make her an interesting horse in this race, because she was good as a 2-year-old. I mean, her Natalma, there wasn't really any pace at all in that race, and she did not get clear in that race until about mid-stretch, and once she got through between horses, that race was all over. I was really impressed by that run. She ran great off the layoff this year. That was another race that she was packed away down on the inside behind horses all through the straight, got clear very late in there, and almost got up to win that race. And last time, the Belmont Oaks did set up well for her. She saved a lot of ground in that race, but she was the horse who tried to cut the corner and get up the inside, and as she was doing that, the way I am, beat her to that spot. She just got blocked behind that horse for a little while, then ran on late. I just think she's okay, headed the right way. I like her cutting back from the mile and a quarter in this race, but there are a lot of ways to look at her as a contender here at a price.
And and while it's still fair to say that a mile and an eighth is a question mark, you can question at the price you're going to get with Caplatentris, because it's going to be more than fair. She's 6-1 on the morning line. You would bet her at those odds. In the multis, who else do you use, if anyone?
I'm not way against Rushing Fall, but I am trying to beat her in this race off of this lift, because I do think horses have caught up with her. 3 and 4 are my 2 main ones, because I do like significant form. I'm using Daddy as a Legend in multis. And listen, if it just turns out that Rushing Fall hasn't lost anything and comes back in really good form and wins, that's fine.
Rushing Fall, I think, is just going to trip out really well here, sitting 3rd off of significant form, and the perhaps overmatched pace setter Go Nani Go. She's going to have every chance to win it turning into the stretch, but the price is no bargain whatsoever. 6-2-4-3 for me in the Grade 2 Lake Placid. It's one of 2 graded races at Saratoga on Saturday. You can bet both of those as well as the entire card with DRF bets. You see the offer, 10 times the bonus at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the Lake Placid, 5:02 Eastern. Best of luck.